Okay. Last January, I attended a program at the Wilmette Public Library. These three ladies presented, and it was A plus plus. I mean, it was superb. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Rhonda Parmacek, Lisa Joy, and Lisa Schulkin. Make your move easy breezy.
Thank you so much, Fred, and welcome, everyone. So question, have any of you ever thought that you're just getting exhausted of taking care of your home, dealing with the basement flooding or snow removal, or your home is getting a little difficult to maneuver around, stairs are getting tough, getting in and out of a bathtub, or just looking for a little bit more socialization? Your neighborhood friends have moved away. If any of these three questions have crossed your mind, then today's presentation's for you. If not, there's some pizza. So with that, I'm gonna introduce Rhonda to get our program started. I'm gonna take this. Yeah.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Ronda Parmacek. I'm with Senior Living Specialists, and I am a senior living concierge. With a lot of seniors, I'm not very popular because they don't want to talk about senior living. But I have been in senior living for 18 years. I worked inside communities on the North Shore for about 12. And for the past 5 years, I've been working on the other side, and that is helping families find the most ideal senior living community for themselves or their loved one. So what do we do? What do I do as a senior living concierge? Well, first of all, I get to know my clients really well. I can either meet them in person or we talk on the phone. Sometimes I talk to the senior themselves. Other times I talk to the adult children, depending on the situation. And it starts off by us doing an assessment. We assess the whole situation of the whole person. We talk about their medical needs. We talk about their hobbies. We talk about what they did for a living. We talk about locations. We talk about financial situations. We really do a full assessment of the client that I'm working with. Then, once we've done a full assessment and we've gotten to know each other very well, we then refer probably about 2 or 3 communities for them to go tour. I'd like to keep it down to 2 or 3 communities. Otherwise, it gets very overwhelming. All the communities start to look the same. And because I visit these communities, it's part of my job is to go visit the communities and to know what's going on inside the communities. I feel that I'm giving the best 2 or 3 communities for you to go tour. So we do the legwork by doing the assessment. And we put together this customized list, and then we develop a list of questions for you to ask when you tour. There's things that you might not think about. There's things that, maybe just don't come up, but we like to put together an advanced list to give to you to ask why you tour. There's questions like, how long has the executive director been there? How long has the director of nursing been there? Things that might not just come to the top of your head unless you did this for a living. And then we also offer you resources for anything else that will help with your move. We have Lisa and Lisa here, who I refer to all the time, realtors, downsizers, move managers. I even have people who help have a senior maybe who got sick in Florida or Arizona. I have nurses that will fly back with them to Chicago if they want to come back to Chicago. So we have all different sorts of resources. There's all different types of senior living, and I'm sure you've heard of many of them, but I'm just going to go through them really briefly. There's a continuing care retirement community, which is a CCRC. These usually involve a large entrance fee. Every community has a different amount as their entrance fee, but it can be anywhere from $200,000 to $1 million. And that's just to walk through the front door. That's not paying for their monthly fee of renting their apartment. So now there are benefits of it, and there's negatives of a CCRC. The benefits is depending how their lease reads and how their contract reads, supposedly they will keep you there the rest of your life, even if you should run out of money. They'll keep you there the rest of your life. That is not always true. And we can get into that another time. But there are, I always tell any of my clients that want to move to a CCRC, you have to hire an elder care attorney and have them look through that contract. The contracts are very, they're big contracts, and I want to make sure that my clients know what they're getting themselves into. Then there's independent living. Now, independent living can stand alone, or it can be part of an assisted living community. An independent living community that stands alone usually offers you your own apartment, meals, activities, transportation, and they'll always usually have a home care agency in the lobby. And what that means is you can use that home care agency if you need help with anything, whether it be cleaning out a closet, whether it be you have the flu and you're having a bad couple of weeks and you need some help showering. You can hire that home care agency to come in your apartment and help you with and assist you in those things. Now, there's other independent livings that are part of assisted living. They too offer home care in independent living. So you can still be driving, you can still be going to your regular activities, but sometimes people find themselves in a situation where maybe they're just on a lot of medications and it's getting really confusing. I mean, I know that I get confused already. So sometimes I'll just have somebody move to an independent living community because they need to get their medications given to them correctly. And that's it. And they go about their regular life and they're driving and going to North Shore Senior Center. I have other people who need a little more assistance. Once you need a little more assistance, you need to be in assisted living community. If you start needing help with showering, dressing, medication management, getting down to your activities, whatever it may be, assisted living is more where my clients belong. And it's usually if you have any more severe medical needs, is assisted living. Then there's memory care. Memory care specializes in providing care for individuals with Alzheimer's and dementia. They can be part of a assisted living community with the memory care attached. What's nice about that is if somebody's not completely ready for memory care, they can be in assisted living until they need memory care. Then I have some memory cares that are standalone, and they just are standalone communities. There's skilled nursing, and this seems to really be confusing, and I totally understand why. Skilled nursing can be called a SNF. It can be called long-term care. It can be called rehab, and it can be called short-term care. So people get very mixed up by skilled care. Skilled care is usually where you go when you either are recuperating from an illness and you've been in the hospital, or you're recuperating from surgery and you need to go to skilled care after you're in the hospital. That's short-term skilled care. But there's also long-term care in the skilled care facilities. And that's if somebody really is advanced and acute and really needs a lot of care. That's when you would go to a skilled care. But most of us see them as rehab from surgery or being sick. in the hospital. There's all different ways to tour the communities. What I like to do is I like to set up the tours for my clients, and that way it stops them from getting a lot of phone calls. And I like to help out with that and help with getting you in contact with the right people. So what I do is I put out a referral and I have that community contact you directly. I tell everybody that they should at least visit at least 2 times before making a decision. And go at a different time of the day, go a different day of the week, and go for sure during a meal time, lunch or dinner preferred. You could get a really, really good feel for what a community is like when you go there during a meal, because there's a lot of activity that goes on before and after a meal. Meet other residents, go up to them and ask them if they're happy there. Ask them why they're happy, if they're not happy, because believe me, they will tell you if they're not happy, and they will tell you why. And don't be shy about this, because the salespeople and the marketing people are expecting you to ask other residents how they're doing there and what they're happy with and what they're not so happy with. Make sure you tour the physical apartment. They usually have studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and you want to see the hallways, you want to see the stairwells, you want to make sure that this place looks impeccable, because that tells you a lot about the way that the senior community is run. I wanted to talk a little bit about, this was some more of the questions that you could ask. I already mentioned this. What's the experience of the executive director? The executive director runs the whole building. So that's really, really important that you find out how long that executive director's been there and what kind of experience they have. That director really leads all the administrative people and leads the feeling that you'll take away from that community. What is the staff turnover? This has been a hard question over the last couple of years with COVID and everything that went on. There was a lot of staff turnover. It's getting better and better, but it's definitely an important question to ask. Is the size of the community feel too big to you, or does it feel too small to you? You want to ask about the activities. You want to make sure that there's things there that are going on that you particularly like. Are there art classes? Are there book groups? Are there canasta groups? Are there mahjong groups? Poker? I mean, usually the communities offer an array of activities that go on throughout the day. And that's another reason why people do move to independent living. They may need no assistance whatsoever, but they need the socialization, and they want to be in a place that's active and is serving their clients the way they need to be doing that. What's included in my monthly rate? We'll kind of go through this when we go through pricing, but you want to know what's included in that monthly rate. Long-term care. When does that come into play? Long-term care, I can tell you just a simple fact, does not work in independent living. It will not pay for your care in independent living. You have to be in a licensed assisted living facility in order to use your long-term care. Is there a typical yearly increase in rent? Yes, there is. It's usually anywhere from 3 to 6%, but I think that's a great question to ask, because we all have to plan out our budgets and make sure that we're going to be able to afford to live there. And lastly, ask to talk to some current family members, phone numbers, talk to the adult children, talk to the other seniors, and we give you a list of questions for that too. So just to give you a little idea of the average cost, I changed the pricing on this just a couple of months ago, and the prices have gone up since I changed my last slide. So I'm going to sound a little different than my slide does here. In-home care. Sometimes there's a minimum of 1 hour. There's a few companies out there that will give you a 1 hour visit. And there's some that have 3-hour minimums, 4-hour minimums. Here I had the range of cost was $26 to $32 an hour. It is now more in the range of, I would say, if you're lucky, $38 to $45 an hour for in-home care, and that adds up. Adult day stay, that has kind of stayed the same. It's between $95 and $150 a day. That's the only price that has really stayed, has not increased the way the others have. Independent living, I don't have on here, but independent living can run anywhere from $2,500 at its lowest, and that will include 2 meals a day, housekeeping activities, all the things I discussed before, to $5,000 a month for independent living. Assisted living can range from $4,000 a month to $10,500 a month, depending on what community we're talking about and how much care you need. So once you get a price of the rental of your apartment, they then do a care plan. They figure out what assistance you need. Let's say you needed 9 o'clock in the morning, you needed medication reminders, and at 9 o'clock at night, you needed someone to help you get undressed and into your pajamas. They will figure that pricing in and come up with a price for you. So assisted living can be anywhere from $4,000 to $10,500. Memory care, I would say, is not at $5,500 anymore. I'd say we're more starting at about $6,500 to $12,000 a month. Long-term care is about $12,000 to $17,000 a month. In residential care homes, I wish we had more of these in Illinois, but we do not. They're a quarter of the price. They're in Arizona, they're in California. It's a residential home in a residential neighborhood. Maybe they have 8 residents in that home being taken care of by nurses, but it's a lot less money, and I really wish we had them here in Illinois. Well, that is it for me. We'll take questions afterwards. I'm going to introduce you to Lisa Joy. And take it away, Lisa.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Joy Rosing, and I am the owner of Joy of Downsizing. It is a senior move management and downsizing company. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what senior move management is. We are in about our 20th year of an industry, just a little over 20 years. And actually this week, starting Thursday, for the first time ever, we have our national conference in Chicago. Where we have over 1,000 members to the National Association of Senior Move Managers, and they are all going to be gathering here in the city this week. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the process of once you've decided that you're moving. Maybe you are moving into just a condo from a large home. Maybe you are moving into a senior community, all the types that Rhonda has talked about. But the earlier you start with the downsizing, the happier you're going to end. And let's just talk about that really, really quickly. This lovely bookshelf was just one bookshelf in the room of a library in a home we downsized. And so making decisions on what you're going to keep of all of those things to go from a larger home into a smaller home is a really big deal. Does anybody here have a lifetime of belongings still, like too much in their home? If you do, raise your hand. So almost everybody has too much. I'm a downsizer. I always go home after a move, and I mentioned to my husband, we have to keep downsizing because you never, the earlier you start, the better. Okay, seniors and their families are often overwhelmed thinking about downsizing and moving. These are some of the big questions. How do we start? What's going to fit? And I'm talking even if you're going into a into a condo where there's an elevator and you no longer have the obstacle of a stairway, you still are most likely downsizing. So what's going to fit? What am I going to keep? What am I going to get rid of? Where is everything going to go when I don't want it? It's so stressful to move alone. I can't even start. Moving is so physical. Moving is so much harder now than it used to be. And I don't want to burden my children. I don't want to burden my nieces and nephews. And I want to maintain my independence. I've been independent all my life, and I really want to be independent with this move. So that is a very typical first conversation when we do a client intake and they make a call. We kind of talk about what's going on and what's happening. The idea behind that first phone call when you do talk to a senior move manager is for them to do an assessment of not only what size home you have now, but what size are you going to, and how much stuff do you have? Because we walk in the door and we see neat and tidy, and we see a little clutter, and we can see lots of clutter. So, and everybody's different, and we don't judge. I will say that. Okay, senior move management, the goal is to help older adults make decisions on downsizing a lifetime of belongings, to manage their transition into a new home, to assist them to right size to age in place. So you actually don't have to be moving. If you are staying in a home, let's say you have a ranch and you don't have any stairs and you decide to continue on in the home. Maybe you have too much still, and we can start working with you even if you're not moving. But senior move management these are our goals. Okay. So what do senior move managers do? Now I'll give you a little bit about my background. I am an interior designer by training. I am also a professional organizer and a senior move manager. So all of those things are great. And I also have a background in social work. And I do believe, in my mind, the perfect senior move management group to work with you is someone who has an idea about design. We're going to talk about a furniture plan in a minute, and not just design, but they have the ability to be like a social worker through this process, because it is a transition. Anytime you're moving in your senior years, it's a transition because life changes a little. Hopefully it becomes easier. But so what senior move managers do, they evaluate, which means measuring all of your furniture. We'll talk about it. We do downsizing and right sizing. We do a customized move plan to your specific move, because your move looks different than someone else's. Rhonda had mentioned people moving from Florida. Yes, maybe I'm sending someone across country. So that's a very different move than if you're going from, here we are in Northfield. If you're going from Northfield to Glenview, that's a different type of move. Okay, so we do pack day and move coordination. Means we're there to help. You can even go out. We're going to be so organized before you move that your senior move manager can manage that process for you and give you the day off. We do unpacking and we set up your entire home. That means we even make your bed. We put your food in the pantry. We literally have you walk in the door and your home shrunk. I like to say, the old movie, Honey, we Shrunk the Kids, or something like that. Honey, we shrunk your house. So, okay. We do believe that a step-by-step move plan is very important, and it helps you have a very customized, organized, and expert move. So what is an evaluation for fit? The first thing we do is we go to your home, we pull out the furniture, the floor plan of the new place that you are moving. And we take that floor plan and we ask you, where do you see what do you want your bedroom to look like? What do you want your living room to look like? And do you have any very special pieces that we need to incorporate in this plan? And we create a draft. We measure all of the furniture. And we also are pretty sneaky. We look around and we say, well, if this doesn't fit, maybe this piece over here from a totally different room might serve a new purpose. So we love to repurpose furniture. And then once we have that, we will even go to the new unit and we will measure out your furniture there and create a final plan and walk through that new home with you to show you that the things that fit and the things that don't fit and talk it through. And we will only take what fits. In this photo, I just want to make a little point about the photo. You'll see an evaluation in the new unit. We are on a tour. We are looking at the new unit and we are deciding how high can she reach. Because we are only going to put in the cabinets the things away that she needs on a daily basis where she can reach. And that's actually going to aid us. It's going to help aid our downsizing process as we talk about, what we're going to take with. How much do we actually have room for where you can reach on a daily basis independently? Those high shelves, we're still going to use them. Maybe you have a Thanksgiving platter you love, or maybe you have a special Christmas or Hanukkah dish. That is important and it will come, but maybe we'll put it up high, right? So that's an example of an evaluation for fit. And I mentioned the floor plan already. We also do help you if for any reason you have a supersized house and everything is too large and you need help picking out some smaller pieces for a smaller unit, we'll help you find that furniture as well. We have done projects where we've literally ordered every piece of furniture in the entire house, or we've ordered none. But we will try shopping in your own home to make your move the easiest. Okay, so through downsizing, that means not just are we helping you decide how much can go and what's going to fit, but we also want to make a plan for where everything else is going. So we'll get into the nitty gritty. Do you have anyone to give this to? What about your kids? Raise your hand if you have kids or nieces or nephews that want your china set. Anybody? No, Bueller? Okay, so basically what that means is we need to make a donation. Most likely we'll make a plan for donation, what we're going to do to donate some of these items. There are fantastic organizations out there such as Wings, which is a domestic violence organization that helps support women and their children fleeing domestic violence. And they set up new homes for these families, and they would greatly appreciate your donation. So we have wonderful charities in our repertoire, and we also believe in upcycling, which is offering for free, putting it out there on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe college students or new immigrants to this country looking for a break. But doesn't that make you feel good to think about if you can't, sell or give your furniture to your family? Maybe you can offer it for free. We make a plan. And again, we are overseeing your entire packing and move day. And we will unpack and set you up so that your home looks just like we mentioned before, your same home, just in the new, smaller footprint. We do, as senior move managers, also do right sizing, which is actually the definition of it is having enough, the right amount for the space you're in now. It's right size for the space you have. We will do decluttering. If somebody was very, very, and I hear this all the time, someone was very cluttered all their life. They have an artistic right brain and they've, maybe has always had a little bit of clutter around. And they say, after you guys set up this beautiful new home, we just need a little help every now and then. We'll set up a maintenance plan. We can come back and declutter with you. We'll do it every 6 months. You don't have to do it every day, right? Okay, so, and then we also offer home cleanouts. And that means, what does a home cleanout mean? It means after you've decided that you're going to donate and get rid of your items, we can manage that process for you. You can hire a senior move manager to do that home cleanout, where we do the donation for you. Anything you didn't get to, we will handle, and sometimes there's some disposal involved. Everybody's home has something that might have to get tossed. We'll take care of everything. And I think the key to this is ask for help, don't do it yourself. These are two of my unpackers. It's great to have a team if you can, and we're here to help. So we just mentioned this. This is what to do with all the items I'm not taking. And I see one on here we didn't talk about, was ask the realtor if they need any of your furniture to stage the home that you're selling. And Lisa will talk about selling a home when I'm done. But I will say that we partner as part of a clean out if we're going to clean out your home once you've moved. So the move process is, let's get you moved. Let's get you unpacked. And if we can, without that deadline, if we have a couple more days after the move to clean out your former home, that would be great, because what we'll do is get it emptied. But what if, in order to move, you have to sell your house? And we have to do your clean out in 2 stages. So stage 1 is getting everything out so that the realtor can photograph the house. And then stage 2 is now the house is closed and we have to get those final pieces removed. So sometimes we'll partner with your realtor to stage your home. I mentioned about the Chicago is having the National Association of Senior Move Managers, over 1,000 members in Chicago. That's the top logo you're looking at, the National Association of Senior Move Managers. And then I'm also a member of NAPO, the National Association of Professionals in Organizing. That was the old name, but Productivity and Organizing is the new one. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of these organizations. I highly recommend you work with a professional when you downsize, because it is truly, it can be very, very organized if you do it with a professional. And that brings us to Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Lisa Schulkin, and I'm a realtor here on the North Shore. I work with App Properties. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. And I am a SRES, which stands for a Senior Real Estate Specialist. It's a special designation, certification that I went through a few-day training, which really allows realtors that want to work with seniors to give us that special certification. Couple fun facts: less than 1% of all realtors are SRES certified. Another fun fact is the National Association of Realtors consider anyone over the age of 50 a senior. So we're all seniors here with you today. So what is the benefit of working with SRES? And it really is, we know how to tailor the selling process. We live in a world now where everything is super fast paced because of electronics. Our younger buyers don't talk, they text, show me this house. We do all our contracts, DocuSign. We know how to slow it down. Let's just even talk about showing the house. When I show a house, typically I tell my sellers, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I have a buyer coming through. Please leave. Go walk the dog, go to your neighbors, get coffee, whatever you do, skedaddle. The buyers don't want to see the seller at home. However, there's an exception to every rule. And a lot of times we will have sellers, often they're seniors, they don't feel that well that day. They're not up for leaving. They don't drive anymore. They don't want to constantly be asking friends and family to pick them up and take them out of the house. Let's face it, we're in Chicago. Come January, February, there could be black ice out and you're just not comfortable leaving the home. So what do? I mean, in those situations, I will take my seller who's not comfortable leaving and say, we're going to find you a quiet room in the house. You're going, shut the door if possible, read a book, put on the TV, and you are going to mind your own business. I will greet the buyers. I'll welcome the buyers. I will explain to the buyers that I have a seller that is unable to leave the home but they are minding their own business. And please encourage the buyers. Open the cabinets, talk freely. My seller's upstairs in the den, and you're only going to see them for 30 seconds when you check out that room. And then I also tell my seller, when the buyers come in the room, let's not talk about the pesky neighbor next door or the woodpecker that comes every spring, smile and zip it, and it works out beautifully. But typically, buyers don't like sellers home, but in this scenario, we kind of lay it out and it works great. I've done it so many times. Another thing is reviewing the process in person. As I mentioned, so many contracts today are signed DocuSign electronically. And let's face it, a lot of our seniors haven't bought or sold a home in decades. They don't even know what a real estate contract looks like anymore. It's 13 pages. It could be overwhelming. They're not used to maybe going on electronics, or even if they are, they want it to be explained to them. So again, being at SRES, we go back old school and understand that our clients may want us there in person, may want us to pick up the phone, explain the contract, maybe have them sign it in person. It is going to be a little different than dealing with a millennial buying their home. Also, managing emotional demands. So they say that buying or selling a home is the second most stressful process a person could go through after getting divorced. Okay, so now let's couple that with our seniors, who many of them have potentially lived in their houses for 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years. You're asking someone to walk away from not just all the clutter that Lisa Joy will help you downsize and, decide what to do with, but all the memories. I mean, it's emotional to make that transition, that change, and it's scary. So again, SRES knows when to slow down and just stop and listen to what their client is going through as they are going through this process. It's a little bit different. We also do understand all the different senior services that might be needed during this process, such as, working with someone as Rhonda and Lisa Joy. So it's basically coming down to going the extra mile, understanding the reason for the move and what challenges someone might be facing. Are they moving, as I talked at the beginning, because the house is too difficult to take care of? Is someone trying to get rid of stairs? Do they have challenges that they need to go to assisted living or living facility? Or are they just looking for getting rid of the stairs and say, I'm open to a maintenance-free community or a condo? And I would say there are many great maintenance-free communities that have ranches, but be aware, you could go to a ranch in a maintenance-free community and they might cover your roof, they might cover the snow plow and the lawn care, but you might still have a basement that might flood. You still might have a sewer line that could back up. So you still might have some headaches where if you go to a condo because you're not ready for a senior living community yet, a condo might be a little less stressful. Just things to discuss what someone's looking for, why they're being motivated to make this move. Also, a conversation to discuss, are there family members we need to get involved? And are all family members on board? And if so, who is the decision maker? I have had plenty of seniors that will say to me, Lisa, I haven't bought or sold a house in 50 years. It's overwhelming. My children did it not so long ago. I trust them. I'm only put you in contact with my children and they're going to make all the decisions. And then on the flip side, I had recently a 93-year-old woman. She wanted her daughter involved and she pulled me aside and said, listen, I want my daughter to know what's going on, but let me make it clear. I'm a sound mind. I'm the decision maker. I'm setting the price. I'm negotiating. You just keep her updated on what's going on. I'm the decision maker. This is my home. And I'm like, okay, good to know. So every situation's different. Also, it's really important to discuss budget. Are you in a position to maybe go out and look at condos or work with someone like Ronda and look at senior living facilities, signed a contract or a lease to make a move, then sell your house? Or do you need to sell your house first to have the proceeds? So maybe work with Ronda and identify 2 different buildings that might be great for you and know that there's availability in both, and then sell the house. Have you lived in your house long enough? There might be tax consequences. Do we need to talk to your accountant? Do we have a family member that might have power of attorney? These are all factors that we would want to take into account. And a SRES does know to take a step back and not just sign the listing agreement and really go through all of these steps that we want to tackle before we put your house up for sale. Another fact is pretty much any good realtor will have a great Rolodex of a painter, a contractor, a carpet cleaner, a window washer, you name it, to fix up your house. I do as well. But as a SRES, I also have a booklet and a Rolodex of names of all other senior professionals. So during that 2 to 6, maybe even 12-month period, we may be working together and getting your house ready to sell or make that move. If you need a bookkeeper, if you decide you want to maybe stay in the house and want it, just have someone come in and make it handicapped accessible so you can age in place. SRES, we have all those contacts along with the home maintenance contacts because we are really aligned in the senior community. So here's a testimonial, and it's not so much about the testimonial, but the story. I had adult woman that came to me. She wanted to have her mom move into a senior living facility. Mom did not want to go. Mom put up a fight every step of the way. Contract came in, and the mom said, I don't like that closing date. Forget it. I'm not selling my house. I said, we can change the closing date. No big deal. So then we had the inspection. It turned out her shower was leaking into her living room. Okay. She goes, forget it. I'm not selling the house. Well, she needed to fix the shower regardless. With a lot of pushing, mostly by her daughter, we did sell her house. She did get in a senior living community here in the North Shore. And I went to go visit her about a month after she moved in. And I walked up to her and she looked at me and she goes, Lisa, you won't believe it. I haven't missed my house for 1 second. And that is what I would say all 3 of us really, really experience is, there's the fear, the anxiety of the overwhelmment of making the move. But when all of our clients actually do take the step to move forward, they are extremely happy with the move and the transition they have made. So with that concludes our program today, and we can open it up to questions.
These questions are for Rhonda and Lisa Joy. You didn't mention anything about your fees or how you get paid or what an average cost would be for your services. So those would be helpful, I think.
Okay, so we have both an hour, we usually use an hourly rate, so we do charge by the hour, but we come and estimate, and it is very, very customized. So I can't tell you how much an entire move project would cost, because I've had a move project go for $2,500 all the way past 10,000. So it depends on how large are we downsizing and how much time you need. So let me turn it over to Rhonda.
Yep, so you could see me. So I have the best word that I could tell you for how I charge. My services are free. So I do not charge the families or the seniors any money for going through the whole transition process. I am paid like a realtor. So the communities, I have contracts with all the communities in the Chicagoland area, and they pay me a commission for moving seniors in. But we have contracts with about 98% of the communities in the area. Yes, it's a good price, isn't it?
Okay, thank you. That was very informative. I have a question about silver and other things that we have collected over the years. My experience is that young people want nothing to do with silver. They want nothing to do with your beautiful Rosenthal china.
Yeah.
And so that has a deep value to me because I bought it and I enjoyed it, and nobody wants it now. I don't want to give it to one of those charitable places, those lovely places downtown that collect for those that are in need. Do you have any suggestions or how do you operate with that?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. That reminds me of some things that I can talk about. So first of all, there are two types of silver. Well, there's more than two types, but there is pure silver or 92.5% silver products, and old coins that are also pure silver or 92.5% pure silver. And those absolutely, it's a fabulous time to sell those. I have silver buyers, and I will, schedule an appointment. I don't take any money from the sale of your products, but if you have something of value, we have a network and we can bring them in and they can make a deal with you. My clients are usually pretty surprised at the price that they can get for silver. And sometimes people have like a little gold collection. They had a little pushki of like gold that they were collecting over the years with broken necklaces, and they don't have to be in great condition, those items. But of course, we have reputable people to bring in and you can make a deal with them. And then the other thing is with China, it really depends. I'm connected with many of the wonderful auction houses in Chicago. Occasionally, there'll be something that they might want. And so we can request, send photos to them and make sure that we have it looked at. There's a due process, right? We start with the highest. And then as we get rejected, each level of the way, then it turns to, can we consign it? We can make a recommendation to you on where you might be able to consign it. And unfortunately, at the very end of the day, and I have an idea for your China, but at the end of the day, if it is not, if nobody is interested in it, as beautiful as it is, as expensive as it was, or how wonderful it is that multiple generations may have passed it down to you, and how sad it is that the next generation doesn't want it. My recommendation is use it as your everyday dishes. Okay.
Here's we have a question from Zoom. I have a question as well. So let me just ask this. It might apply to others as well. What about specialty items that some people might consider it junk. Other people consider it valuable because it's memorabilia. And in my case, there are fossils that have been collected that might be of interest. Do you ever deal with specialty things? I mean, for example, there might be people here with paintings that have some value. Do you deal with eBay, or do you have sources for specialty things like that?
So the answer is yes. And again, we make recommendations on where you can try to sell it. We can, contact people for you and see if they can come and visit your collection. In the end, when you have a specialty collection, if it really does have a value, and I don't know if anybody knows the difference between a appraisal value for insurance and today's market value. And China would be a great example, but it applies to everything you've ever collected, even fossils. There's a great rock shop in Evanston called Dave's Rock Shop. I would maybe make a recommendation to contact them for that specific thing. But anyway, but there are auctions that might be interested. So yes, we're connected to them and we can reach out on your behalf, send them photos, see if they're interested. And believe me, when they're interested, they're going to come and walk through your home. Same with art collections. I have had everything clients of mine have had. Just everyday art, typical art you might have bought at an art fair, and all the way on up to clients have had Picassos and, and the like. So, we do bring in auction when appropriate, and we always like to start high and then just keep coming down to, there are some small auction houses that are amazing with fabulous recommendations that might take your Murano glass, for example. If anybody here, raise your hand if you have Murano glass. Okay, that's a lot of people. So, that is something that I can tell you right now, there is still an interest in that.
Okay, I have a Zoom question and then I'll take any others until 11:30 because we're on a pizza deadline. The Zoom question, first of all, is from Morgan, W. Morgan. Do you know anyone who does estate sales? How does it work when someone comes into your home? Will estate people load up their truck and take the stuff? That's one question.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about estate sales. We do, remember, and I said we make a plan. Senior move managers make the plan. We're your project manager for your move. Anyone who's a senior move manager will make a plan with different steps. And one of those steps, if you have time after you move, is once you're out, everything left behind, if there is enough for an estate sale, we will bring in an estate sale company. If you want to have more than one estate sale company visit, we can do that as well. Not everybody has enough for an estate sale. Their minimums are between $10,000 and $15,000 of the gross sale. So if they don't believe that they can sell the contents of a home for the gross sale being $10,000 to $15,000, if you do the math, usually their percentage is about 40%. You get about 60%. Because they work so hard, they don't charge you anything. And what happens is they put a lot of time and energy. So they want to have enough of an, enough of an income from your sale for all the work they're putting in. So sometimes you could get rejected and then we go on to some private buyers, which we also have a network of, and we can bring in individuals who are maybe dealers, et cetera, that are looking for a good deal so they could turn around and sell it to their connections. Does that answer the question?
It does.
Okay.
Thank you for that. We have a couple other comments and then I'll see if there are any questions from the auditorium. Ruth Schneiderman is just reminding us, I always check the public bathrooms to see how clean they are. So that's probably wise. And Gil is reminding us, and I think this is true, I'll have we can confirm this, but are the recording Tuesday Club meetings available for review later? You have authorized this to be recorded, so it will be on the North Shore Senior website. It's under the Tuesday Club off the home page. So yes, we're happy to say within a couple of weeks, this presentation, within 1 week, right. So thank you. Now let's see if there's any other questions.
And while you're seeing if there's any other questions, I want you to know that we have left all of our brochures and contact information on the table right outside the door. So feel free to please take anything on that table.
Okay, this probably will be our last question. I don't see any other hands.
I was just going to comment, there is an auctioneer or auction house where you can hire them to come into your home, way before you get to this moving out point. And they will go through and price and let you know what things really are valuable. I heard them speak at the Kenilworth Church recently.
Okay, another one here.
I was wondering why there aren't more residential home care. Is it a legal issue or why in Illinois there aren't those?
The residential group homes. I don't know. That's a very good question, and I'm being honest. I really don't know why there's not more in in Illinois. There are some down south. I'll give you my card and I will find out a good answer for you. But they have to be legal because there are some. So it has to be legal, but it probably has to be approved, and I'm sure there's a lot to it. So it's unfortunate
Yeah.
though. It's a lot less money.
Okay,
A
it's
lot
time
less
for
expensive.
pizza. Rhonda, Lisa, and Lisa, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Much.